Well, it is the 13th day of April 2023. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch on Hope TV, the station where you look and live. I'm Tess Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. We have plenty of news lined up for you, so sit back, relax, and let us get you in the know on the day's events. Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga has announced the resumption of the anti-government protests as soon as the Islamic fasting period comes to an end. Speaking at the historic Maandamano Hall, where the opposition leaders converged ahead of the start of the bipartisan talks with the government side, Raila said he agrees with the recommendations of the leaders that the protests will continue concurrently with the bipartisan talks. DAP Kenya leader Eugene Wamalwa blamed the Kenya Kwanza leadership for allegedly lowering the opposition leader's standing to that of the members of the parliament. On his part, Usawa Party leader Mwangi wa Iria defended Central Kenya residents for not participating in the past weekly protests, saying he will be at the forefront to lead the demonstrations as the farmers in the region were greatly disadvantaged.
Wakenya hawezi kutishwa. Wakenya watasimama imara. Wakenya wataendelea. Sasa tumekubali mazungumzo ziendelee. Lakini mimi nakubaliana na pendekezo ambayo imetoka hapa siku ya leo. Ati mazungumzo endelee. Mazungumzo endelee. Na maandamano sambamba. Dawa ya moto ni? Dawa ya moto ni? Kwa hivyo sisi tutaendelea. Tutaendelea. Sitaendelea. Tunangoja Ramadhani ishi. Ramadhani kisha namna hii tutatangaza. Tutatangaza. Na mtaitika. Mtaitika.
2022 in Kenya, the court failed to give justice. And the whistleblower let us know what was in the server. We are therefore saying, do not ask us whether the whistleblower is accurate. Do not ask us whether our information is accurate. The responsibility to keep records is not ours. It belongs to a body we pay called the IEBC. Open the servers and the truth will be known once and for all. If we do not open these servers, we shall be again sweeping the dirt under the carpet, and one day this nation will explode. We must have the servers opened this time, and that is period.
He wants the recognition and legitimacy from the rest of Kenya, because so far he's a minority leader. Leaders have said he was elected by only a third of the electorate of Kenya. The silent majority is not with him. His legitimacy is in question until the day those servers are opened. So staki niseme mengi, I want to agree with Churchill as he comes. The issue of Article 35 of our Constitution remains alive, and Kenyans have the right to ask for that information. Smartmatics refused to open the servers. They wrote a letter, we still have it.
Ile kodi ambayo inawekwa kwa chai ndio imefanya bei ya chai iende chini kwa mkulima. Kodi kwa kahawa na kodi kwa bidhaa. Hiyo kwanza iondolewe ili tuanze kudiscuss ama kujadiliana mambo ya brokers. Mimi sina mengi, mimi niko na nyinyi, lakini maandamano ya huko kwa mlima, sisi na wengi ambao wametiwa baridi na deputy president, kwa sababu huko hakuna mtu anaongea.
Now, earlier on, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition bipartisan dialogue team decried the inclusion of Eldas Member of Parliament Aden Kainan as part of the Kenya Kwanza team, demanding he be dropped. Kainan was elected on a Jubilee Party ticket, and his appointment to represent Kenya Kwanza has been received with much criticism. Speaking during the team's first meeting, the chair of the Azimio negotiators and Rarieda Member of Parliament Otiende Amolo also called out the government on their slow engagement in the negotiation process.
We reiterate our readiness and commitment to the process, but decry the delay exhibited by our Kenya Kwanza counterparts. We note the delay in naming the 7 members of the team, and up to now, note that they have not named the co-chair, leaving us at a loss as to whom to engage. As a further demonstration of our commitment, we hereby announce as follows. 1, we have prepared a draft framework of engagement to guide the process and await to engage on the same with our counterparts. 2, we have appointed the following as assisting counsel. First, Professor Makau Mutua, and second, Honorable Jeremiah Kioni. 3, we have appointed Advocate Paul Mwangi to act as Joint Secretary. Honorable Kainan is a member of Azimio. The issue of party discipline is one of the 4 cardinal issues on the table, and his inclusion is in bad faith, unlawful, and intended to delay the process. We therefore request our counterparts to reconsider and replace Honorable Kainan so that we can move with speed.
Moving on, the National Assembly has this evening heatedly debated the removal of Murang'a woman representative Sabina Chege from the position of Deputy Minority Chief Whip. This follows a communication tabled in the House by the leader of Minority, Opiyo Wandayi. Chege, who is a Jubilee Party member, however, did not take kindly the move by the Azimio la Umoja coalition. She argued the position had been negotiated by the Jubilee Party leader without her knowledge, and it was only fair that a parliamentary group meeting by Jubilee Party be convened to discuss her removal from office.
Under Article 3, Mr. Speaker, you have an obligation to uphold the Constitution, which you have severally done so in this House, Mr. Speaker. And allow me to state that that letter from the Minority Leader, Honorable Wandayi, which you have referred to, and it makes reference also to Standing Order number 20A, which the leader has alleged invoked to commence the replacement, Mr. Speaker. I seek the indulgence of members of this House, Mr. Speaker, as we read Standing Order number 20A, and tell me whether the Standing Orders accords with the Constitution in terms of Article 47 on fair administration of action. And Mr. Speaker, the Standing Order has no due process, and this is what the leader of Minority is using to intimidate me to leave a position that was negotiated by my party. And I will not take it kindly, and I know also my party members will not take it kindly. There is no justice, Mr. Speaker, and the due process has not been followed. As I've again mentioned, Mr. Speaker, I've only had this on the floor of the House, and nobody has contacted me, neither have our party members been contacted. Was there a meeting that was held? Were there minutes, Mr. Speaker, that were given to you as part of this communication? Were there signatures that were there? And how many members of Jubilee Party signed? Mr. Speaker, I will beg that you avail to us these records and give us ample time before you communicate, Mr. Speaker, for us to sit and deliberate. 1, as Jubilee Party, and number 2, as a coalition, Mr. Speaker.
The newly appointed Deputy Inspector General Douglas Kanja Kirocho has been urged to foster good public relations with members of the public. Speaking this morning when she presided over the new Inspector General swearing in, the new Deputy Inspector General swearing in, Chief Justice Martha Koome further challenged the police service to discharge its duties within the confines of the constitutionally envisaged democratic policing whilst remaining accountable to the Kenyan police. Koome has also exuded confidence that the police boss will observe the rule of law in the execution of his duties.
I, Douglas Kanja Kirocho, having been appointed member of the National Police Service Commission, do swear that I will at all times obey, respect, and uphold the Constitution.
What we are doing now is to ensure that we have a system that links us with all the critical agents we work with. Tomorrow, we are launching the e-filing in Mombasa, and it is already interlinked with the ODPP. The next phase will be also to link the police.
Umetuahidi ya kwamba very soon vile polisi walikuwa nabeba Okare's book, the famous OB, tunaibeba tunapeleka kotini kama ushahidi. Umetuahidi in the very near future we shall be linked such that electronically that evidence can be presented before court. Therefore, huo uhusiano kati ya polisi na judiciary sisi tunakuhakikishia utaendelea.
Away from that, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has this evening received over 89,000 metric tons of petrol from the United Arab Emirates, which is the first petroleum import purchased under the government-to-government agreement. The Deputy President has said that adequate measures have been put in place to ensure continued security of supply of petroleum products under this new arrangement. At the same time, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has urged the holders of foreign currency to offload or sell to the market, as normalcy will return to the foreign currency market.
Today, we receive our maiden petroleum imports at our government-to-government arrangement. It is an important milestone for our country and our economy. The petroleum importation regulations 2023 provides that the importation of super petrol, diesel, and Jet A1 into the country shall be undertaken either through the open tender system, OTS, or a government-to-government arrangement. The monthly imports of 3 petroleum products is approximately 740,000 metric tons, of which 60% is for local consumption, while 40% is for transit market. Reduction in speculative tendencies in the foreign exchange market, which has in the past exaggerated exchange rate volatility and caused sharp depreciation of the Kenya shilling. I wish to encourage holders of foreign currency deposits to offload or sell to the market as confidence and normalcy returns to the foreign currency market.
Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu has today appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on Education to respond to the alleged malpractices in the 2022 KCSE examinations, among other issues in the ministry. The progressive probe by the members of Parliament over alleged cheating in the exams follows mixed reactions from Kenyans after the release of the results, especially after many schools appeared to have all students qualifying to join universities. Grace Ahati has more.
Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu has once again dismissed claims of cheating in the 2022 KCSE national examinations. This comes after the CS in January this year, speaking during the launch of the distribution exercise of grade 7 textbooks in the country, made the same pronouncements, terming the allegations as propaganda coined by people who don't have proper intentions for the country's education system. Appearing before the Parliamentary Committee on Education chaired by Tinderet MP Julius Meli, Education CS Ezekiel Machogu was tasked with responding to questions on the allegations of cheating in the 2022 KCSE. Machogu, however, stated that it was not unusual for selected schools to record drastic improvements in the national exams.
Where you think there are impossibilities, they can be possibilities. I took over school as chair some years back. And personally, I was able to supervise and put out certain measures. If you saw the trend of that particular school, you will be able to say, yes, it can be done because even I revised the entry grades. So unless you go to that particular specific school and say what kind of measures were put in place, you cannot be able to condemn and say, no, it cannot be done, because what I'm telling you, it is not a miracle, it is doable, it has been done, and the people who do it are like you and me, human beings.
Mashogu highlighted the performance of Kisii and Nyamira counties, which have been at the center of attention over their sterling performance, dismissing reports that the two counties had the highest number of candidates with straight A's in their KCSE exams. According to him, Siaya topped in Nyanza region with 72 A's, followed by Homa Bay and Migori with 62, Kisumu 59, and Nyamira had 30 A's.
I assure you that at the helm of that ministry, and I put things in place, although we came in the last minute, saying accountability will be at the personal level. We did introduce certain measures which I will be able to show you as we move forward, which I believe that what our students got was the real grades. And that information being perpetrated, the kind of propaganda we are getting is on unfounded. The 2022 KCSE examination was credible, integrity was not compromised, as it will be proved.
The CS further addressed the current status of junior secondary schools, noting that all schools have received capitation funds of 15,042 shillings per student, hence no learner should pay extra levies. On the issue of the timeline for payment of the contractors who took part in the construction of the 10,000 CBC classrooms during former President Uhuru Kenyatta's regime, Mashogu said that they will be paid by the end of the financial year 2022-2023.
This government is committed and very determined to make sure that there are no pending bills, the contractors are paid, because that is the only way that we can be able to have the economy moving.
The session was attended by stakeholders in the Education Ministry, including Education Principal Secretary Belio Kipsang and Kenya National Examination Council NEC Chairperson David Njengere, among other officials. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Grace Ahati.
Thank you, Grace Ahati, for that report. Moving on, the National Drought Management Authority, NDMA, has cautioned against early celebration following the onset of the March to May 2023 long rain season, stating that palpable results in the sectors most affected by drought are yet to be realized. In a statement on the drought situation in the country, the Cabinet Secretary for East Africa Community, Arid and Semi-Arid Lands and Regional Development, Rebecca Miano, said while the onset of the rainy and regional development, while the onset of the rainy season is a welcome relief, it does not resolve food security challenges instantaneously. Cabinet Secretary Miano says there is still need for benefactors to continue pooling resources to counter challenges posed by the drought suffered in recent times until the situation changes for the better. Melissa Odu with that.
While the onset of the March to May long rain season, which began in the last week of March, is considered a great relief to many Kenyans who had been battling the severe effects of drought in the recent past due to 5 failed rainy seasons, the National Drought Management Authority, NDMA, says food security challenges have not been instantly resolved. This as the government has activated drought recovery plans in all the affected counties as it embarks on building resilience of the affected communities against foreseeable shocks. 21 out of the 23 counties in the arid and semi-arid lands ASOL were marked as most affected by the drought, with the National Drought Management Authority NDMA putting Marsabit and Turkana in the emergency phase. 8 other counties remain in the alarm phase, while 11 are in the alert drought phase. The rest, West Pokot and Tharaka Nithi, are in the normal drought phase. NDMA, however, says 4 counties have recorded an improved trend, while 4 others have worsened due to the delayed onset of the long rains, a situation that is expected to improve as the rains continue in April. Meanwhile, flash floods have been experienced in many ASOL counties as the long rains began in March, displacing people and sweeping away small stock and household items in Narok, Marsabit, Garissa, Isiolo, Mandera, Tana River, Samburu and Turkana. The vegetation condition also showed slight improvement in March compared to February, with the ongoing rains expected to impact positively on vegetation regeneration. However, the rains also brought a number of livestock diseases in some counties despite providing relief to the trekking distances for water. Overall, 4.4 million people in the ASOL counties remain in need of food assistance. CS Miano has therefore urged benefactors to continue pooling resources to counter challenges posed by the drought suffered in recent times until the situation changes for the better. For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Melissa Odor.
Much appreciated, Melissa, for that report. And we now take our first break on Newswatch tonight. Don't go away. We have plenty more coming up.
Or sometimes I can use an audio Bible on my laptop where I have a screen reader which reads the verses. I think I can just say every verse is my favorite.
Let's watch.
Welcome back. Now, Sports, Arts and Culture Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba, his counterpart in tourism Penina Malonza, were flanked by NATOM UNESCO Secretary General and CEO Dr. Evangeline Njoka in launching this year's national cultural celebrations and the 10th anniversary at KICC. Hundreds of Kenyans were treated to the best of cultural performances. Cabinet Secretary for Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage Penina Malonza lauded the efforts by the Commission that has put Kenya on the global map. Culture Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba, who was the chief guest at the event, lauded NATCOM UNESCO for staging this year's event, reiterating the government's commitment to meeting its obligations as a UNESCO member. The UNESCO Secretary General and CEO Dr. Evangeline Njoka said the 10-year publication heralds a new era in the country's cultural history. And on a similar note, Kenya is holding its home exhibition, which is expected to run for 4 days. The event started on Wednesday and is expected to end on Saturday this week with a cultural exhibition under the theme A Decade of Excellence, Enhancing Development, National Cohesion, Identity and Pride, which speaks to national integration, cohesion and sustainable development. Our reporter Dolly Murigi Mbuvi interacted with the people of Samburu and Taveta communities and filed the following report.
Do you know the culture of the Taita and the Samburu? On Thursday, April the 14th, 2023 in Nairobi, stakeholders gathered at the KICC in Nairobi to highlight different cultures from different communities in the country. An event graced by senior government officials led by Sport and Culture Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba. The traditions and stories of the various communities in Kenya are some of the most fascinating stories in the world. Many traditions from some tribes in the country are still embraced. What is it about the Taita community? Most of the cultural practices of the Taita are still embraced today. The heritage of the culture of the Taita community, along with the more than 44 communities in Kenya, continues to fascinate and inspire. The Taita community enjoys expressing itself through music and dance. They have many interesting forms of traditional dance. The traditional dances come along with the traditional craft.
It's just few of expression as my artistic way, I express Taita in art. Mwenzangu pia express in art, express in dance, express in dawa. So Taita general ni life.
Taveta vipaji vimezaliwa vingi. Kwa upande wa art vijana wamekosa tu support. Wanaweza kufanya mambo makubwa na wakafika mbali. So huwa kuna lecture pale. Huwa tunachonga hivi, tunavutia watalii kutoka sehemu mbalimbali.
From the Tel Aviv, Taita hosts lots of tourist attraction.
Taita kwa kweli kuna ngoma nyingi, kwa mfano kama ni mambo ya ngoma, kuna ngoma nyingi sana, lakini ile ambayo sasa imekuja kuwa yani ndio imebaki kwa vile vizazi vyote ni kama ni tu pekee yake tulioko na hii Mwazindika.
The nature itself does not lie, so people should visit Taita.
From the north, we meet the Samburu community, which is known to have a close relationship with the Maasai, who also live in East Africa. Both tribes speak a similar language derived from the Ma language. The traditional dress of the Samburu community is a red cloth tied as a skirt with a white sash. This is adorned with many colorful beaded rings, bracelets, anklets, and necklaces. Each piece of clothing that is worn represents the status of the wearer.
I think our culture is still rich, it's still virgin. The Samburus are very rigid on culture, and we don't do anything for drama. We just display whatever we have, the material facts, material artifacts, which are worn by both men and women, and also those ones are used for special occasions.
Dancing is an important part of the Samburu community culture. Their dance is similar to that of the Maasai, with men dancing in a circle and lots of jumping. Traditionally, the Samburu tribe does not use any instrument to accompany their dancing and singing.
In a world where the African culture is slowly fading, the Samburu community in Kenya maintains that their culture still remains unadulterated. Dolly Merigimbovi for Hope TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Dolly, for that report. Nakuru Senator Tabitha Karanja has been given a 45-day ultimatum to start an out-of-court settlement process in her multi-billion tax evasion case. The Keroche boss has been charged afresh with 10 counts of tax fraud. Karanja was arraigned before Milimani Principal Magistrate Esther Kimilu and denied all the charges on the amendment charge sheet. The accused is charged that on diverse dates between the 20th of February 2015 and 20th January 2016 within the Republic of Kenya, being the director of Keroche Breweries Limited, knowingly made incorrect statements in her excess duty returns for the period between January 2015 to December 2015 by under-declaring production volumes. The accused is charged with other counts of the same tax evasion amounting to 14 billion shillings between January 2015 to June 2019. The court also heard that there are some documents in form of electronic certificates that were to be supplied to the defense and had not yet been supplied. In addition, the defense had requested for some time for out-of-court settlement within the Kenya Revenue Authority, which through Magistrate Esther Kimilu, the court granted the accused 45 days failure, to which trial is to be commenced on the 27th of July 2023.
This matter was for hearing on 12th and 13th April, that is yesterday and today. The prosecution availed witnesses and the defense indicated their wish to have the matter settled out of court, that is ADR. The defense caused an adjournment of the matter, and the court noted defense ought to have made a request to the Commissioner of Tax early enough not to frustrate the hearing. Today, in court, a representative from KRA has confirmed that no such request has been made to the Commissioner of Tax. The defense has caused more delay. To the prosecution, an amended charge sheet has been presented with additional document. Although pre-trial had closed, it is evident that defense was not ready to have the trial commence. In the interest of justice, I shall grant the prosecution leave to amend the charge sheet and to supply the document as per the inventory dated 13th April
2023, the defense is granted 45 days to initiate the ADR process. Failure to which no further adjournment shall be granted to the defense. The court has always been ready to proceed, but the defense has caused several adjournments, which now must come to an end.
Kenya Association of Manufacturers, KAM, has today held the Manufacturing SMEs Convention dubbed Resetting Manufacturing to Achieve Agenda 20 by 30. The convention seeks to focus on the SME ecosystem in Kenya and the sector's linkages to driving export-led growth, global competitiveness, and industrializing agriculture. Whitney Akinyi has more.
Leading voice and representative of manufacturing and value-add industries in Kenya, KAM, in partnership with the government, have held a small, medium-sized enterprise convention in Nairobi. The convention is themed Resetting Manufacturing to Achieve Agenda 20 by 30, with KAM Chief Executive Officer Anthony Mwangi lauding the SME sector for contributing up to 30% of the total Kenyan GDP. Mwangi revealed that KAM plans to build a bigger ecosystem to factor in growth for different SMEs.
We want to build a big ecosystem where we deal with the biggest challenges that face SMEs: access to finance, access to markets, logistics, market knowledge, product development.
On his part, the board chair of KAM, Rajan Shah, noted that SMEs are the backbone of the Kenyan economy, operating with limited resources yet employing a huge number of people. He added that the convention provides a platform for discussion of challenges facing the businesses, brainstorming solutions, and finding innovative ways of doing things differently.
SMEs are the backbone of our economy. You are the innovators, the risk takers, and the creators of employment opportunities. You are the ones who contribute to the growth of the economy, and doing with limited resources in the face of several challenges. This convention provides you with a platform to discuss the challenges you face, to brainstorm solutions, and to share your best practices. Together, you can find new and innovative ways to overcome these challenges.
Gracing the event was the Cabinet Secretary of the Ministry of Cooperatives and Micro, Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, MSMEs, Simon Chilagui, who observed that whereas Kenya has developed programs and initiatives to support micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, over the years, the potential is yet to be fully tapped.
We have two challenges in supporting MSMEs: access to finance and affordability. And you've seen other initiatives that we came up with, the Hustler Fund. Many of us think the Hustler Fund is a very small intervention in terms of amount and quantum. But I want to assure you that on a daily basis, 7 million Kenyans are borrowing and repaying that money.
Also present during the launch was the Prime Cabinet Secretary of Industry, Juma Mwakana, who noted that there is a missing link between agriculture and industry, which has led to shortage of raw materials in the past, and called for the strengthening of various value chains.
One of the areas that we have not done very well is our linkages to raw material. We import nearly 80% of the things we use in Kenya. We make 20%. But even this 20%, the raw materials are still coming from outside.
Whitney Akinyi reporting for Hope TV Newswatch.
Appreciated, Whitney, for that report. Now, traders at the Eldoret West Market are devastated after a fire broke out, destroying their goods worth millions of shillings. Speaking to the media, the traders, who are counting numerous losses, have called on the county government to look into issues bedeviling the market, such as lack of water, so as to curb such incidents. The cause of the night fire is yet to be known.
So hata ile mali kidogo ile yenye tungeokoa
tulipata kila kitu kimekwisha kabisa.
Kukuja kuna kitu yenye tulipata moto iko imechoma kila kitu, kuna kitu tungeweza kuokoa. Kimechoma mashini yote, belts za customer na manguo.
Nilikuwa nimerestock jana na sijui nitaanzia wapi ama nitafanya aje.
Chenye ningeomba serikali yetu ya county ikiongozwa na Jonathan B, tafadhali, wakati soko ya town ilifungwa, wafanyabiashara walikuja soko ya West. Ningeomba tafadhali our governor, the area leaders, MP, MC mpaka MCA, murudishe macho yenu kwa West Market. Soko ya West Market imesaulika for so long.
County tunaomba maji tuweze kuachiwa huru, kwa sababu tungekuwa na maji karibu, wale ambao watu wangekuwa karibu wangechota maji wakimwaga pale. So hatuna maji yenye iko inawekwa hapo lakini inafungwa.
Wanang'ang'ana ndio hapo ndio penye napata maziwa wa watoto, na mimi ni mama mjane. Serikali tuione tu venye itatusaidia kabisa.
And across our borders, Nigerian President-elect Bola Tinubu is set to assume office as planned on May 29th, despite ongoing legal battles challenging the legitimacy of his election victory. According to the country's information minister, Lai Mohammed, the inauguration ceremony will proceed as scheduled even as court proceedings continue. Mohammed said there was no basis for the constitution of an interim government, however, stating that the opposition political parties have the right to challenge the presidential election in court. 4 presidential candidates filed legal challenges on 21st of March against Tinubu's victory, alleging widespread rigging and manipulation of tallies. It takes about 8 months for the judiciary to determine a presidential election petition, which must be heard within 180 days from the day it is filed. If petitioners are dissatisfied with the appellate court's decision, which is delivered within 60 days, they have 21 days to appeal it at the Supreme Court, whose decision is final.
Next on Adam's Cave.
Because I was just foolish and stupid as a child growing. And we think we know, but we don't. What you thought you knew at 15, at 25, you realize was stupid. But you still thought at 25 you know, and yet your father thought you knew nothing. Please just come back to Christ. But I can tell you there is nothing richer. Come talk to other Adams like us.
Welcome back. In business, the French Chamber of Commerce, CCI France Kenya, has hosted the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, in a meeting to discuss EPRA's latest initiatives. The meeting aimed to encourage investments and smooth business transactions with the energy and petroleum sector, such as an online licensing platform which has saved time spent in acquiring a license. Speaking during the meeting, EPRA Director General Daniel Kiptor reiterated the regulator's efforts to encourage business and streamline business operations in the sector, while stating that the online platform was a key focus of the meeting.